Hello, today I'm going to discuss how to do pull-ups, how to learn how to do pull-ups in the first place, right? Going from zero pull-ups to a decent number of pull-ups. A lot of times I see what I see out there in terms of, and what I used to do for the longest time is people find ways to make the pull-up easier. And if you don't have a lot of equipment, like a Gravitron machine, one of those things, that ends up being putting your feet in bands. You end up bungee cording yourself up and down. I've done it. It works. I've seen people get better pull-ups doing it. It's not bad. Not my preferred method right now. It helps a lot the bottom of the pull-up, not a lot the top of the pull-up, because it's a band, right? So not my favorite method. The second thing I see a lot is people doing basically forced negatives, right? They jump up and they hold themselves getting down. Again, not my favorite, because if you can't do a pull-up, you can't do a pull-up, right? And just because you can slow your pathway down doesn't mean your shoulder is the safest, most stable position at any part of that range of motion. Okay? You could also, of course, if you have like a pull down type machine, work on that. But as you'll see what I talk about today, that doesn't really help with a lot of the other aspects of the pull-up that I want people thinking about when I teach them a pull-up. So anyhow, let's talk about what I want to see in a good pull-up, right? So first is, just like with the overhead press, I want to see your shoulder blades, your scapula, spinning up so the socket points up as the arms above your head. Why? Because if not, there's going to be some jamming or impinging or bone against bone and all the things in between, right? There's plenty of things in between. Nerves, blood vessels, muscles, you name it. So we'd rather see the socket point up so that doesn't happen, right? The other thing that what I forgot to say in the press video was this. The scapula doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? The scapula sits on top of your rib cage and attaches to your clavicle. And these things must move for the scapula to be able to move. So one of the things that we have to look at when people are doing pull-ups or overhead presses is, can they lift their arms above their head without their rib cage, what's called a flaring? So can they lift their arms above their head without them losing control of their spine? Doing this, right? So if they get to here and they start going, then more than likely, when they get forced into that position, they're going to start doing this instead of this. See? Do it right now. Shrug your shoulders. Try to lift your arms above your head. Doesn't work. Arch your spine a lot. Try to lift your arms above your head. Doesn't work. So you must have some control of the rib cage over the hips, like I talked about with the deadlifts and the push-ups, right? And the squats. And that allows your rib cage to articulate, to move, and the ribs in front to open up so you can get the arm above your head without the tilt, which allows you to get the arm above the head without the shrug. Okay? So the spin rather than elevation. Outward rotation instead of elevation. Get technical. So how do we learn how to do that? Again, just like everything else, I want to teach you how to get through this through movement, right? Not through just giving you a bunch of cues, but through movement. And I feel that most people's hurdle in getting good at push-ups is lack of patience, like everything else in life. And we're going to start from the bottom up. Yes, from the feet and the legs up, not from the hands, not from the arms, from the feet and the legs up. When you're hanging, your feet are dangling. Dangling uncontrolled feet and legs and lower body don't make for a good pull up. So first thing we need to do is get control of our lower body, right? So one way of getting control of our lower body, or the easiest way, right, is by learning how to move your legs around while in this laying down position, right? Again, just like in the bridge, we have feedback on our lower back. So if I can do this without my lower back moving back and forth, that helps. Of course, that's super easy. Not really for everybody, but so after a while it's gonna get easy, right? And then you can start working on extended legs, right? And of course, that's where stuff like lying leg raises come in. Now, must you be able to do perfect lying leg raises before you do a pull-up? I don't know, maybe. Maybe. But if you can't even do one leg at a time without your back flopping back and forth, I don't want you doing pull-ups, right? Second thing, again, this is how we're talking about controlling the motion of the spine by moving the legs around, right? Loading with the legs. But then when we're hanging, again, our hips are in the air. So how do we progress from that to hips in the air? One step I like to take with people is teaching them a lying reverse curl, reverse curl, right? A reverse abdominal curl, reverse crunch, right? It's a good way of calling it. And for this, I like to use a heavy anchor in the back, right? Something stable, and have them kind of hold on to it. Again, arms off the head, just like they would be in a pull-up, and have them work on curling their spine up and down. And again, I'm not doing this to build the six-pack, although of course it will work your abdominals because that's what they do. But the whole point of this is teaching the person control of that position, because your hips are going to want to swing back on that pull-up. Now, could we add the other stuff we're doing to this, right? Of course we could, right? All kinds of stuff like this, traditional abdominal exercises, right? Will help you get better at hanging. Because the fact is your legs are hanging when you're doing a pull-up, right? And doing all those traditional leg raise type movements, Pilates stuff, will help you get better at hanging in that portion of it. Having a stable platform here, being able to hold your abs down in that position as well, will allow for what we were talking about earlier. So even things like we talked about it before, the dead bug, right? When I talked about my twisty things, the traditional dead bug, when I go up here and reach above my head and reach with my leg, that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching this to move. I am teaching my ribcage to expand, my hips to hold in position, the lowest part of my ribcage to hold in position so the top can expand. And this puts me in basically, I have some kettlebells here, not allowing my arm to go fully back, but this puts you in basically a pull-up position. And of course, you can do it both at a time. Now we're really in a good pull-up position. Oh, it's normally sometimes referred to as the hollow position, right? Which is basically holding a neutral spine with that shoulder flexion and hip extension. It is weird, I know, this is called flexion, this is extension back here. It's strange, but it is what it is. So, that's the first thing. Learn to control your spine while your feet are in the air, probably arms in overhead position, while on the floor. Second, learn to hang. Yes, hang, not do a pull-up, just hang. And I hate just static hanging. A lot of people like to tell people just to static hang, maybe do some shrugs. That's fine and dandy. Probably works. But it's boring. So what could you do? Well, again, let's work on that movement, of that leg movement, because I just hate isometrics, just holding positions. So here comes our hanging knee raise, right? Again, hanging knee raises, some people don't like them. It's not a great camera angle, but we'll deal. Some people don't like hanging knee raises because they get all upset that, it's not an ab exercise, right? It's a hip flexor exercise. Who cares? The point is we're learning to control the movement of our legs, right? So it's the same thing we were doing earlier, and I can't fully hang on these because my ceiling is too low. And that's why I got these nice new J-Flex little thingies that my wife got me for Christmas. They're really nice. But the point is, we can work on moving the legs one at a time. And if I'm not swinging, my spine is pretty neutral. Of course, we can then work on doing basically the reverse curl that we just did. Reverse crunch that we just did. From this hanging position. The whole time my shoulder's going to have to suck in and stabilize so my legs can move without a lot of swing. That's kind of what we're trying to teach it to do. It's a good thing. Like I said before, yes, You could also work on shrugging up and down, going from that a fully relaxed pull-up position to a active pull-up position, active hand to a relaxed hand. I just don't like small movements like that. I'd rather teach people, first start them with all those core spinal control, swinging the leg movements on the ground, and then progress them to hanging knee raise variations. I don't think anybody, unless you can do like 10 hanging knee raises without swinging, why try and teach you to do a pull-up? Okay? It's my opinion. Now, for the second part, let's go to what the upper body is doing, okay? So, the upper body is gonna be, here you go, my closet again. The upper body is gonna be pulling, right? It's a pulling motion. There's a hanging part of the pull-up and there's a climbing part of the pull-up. And my favorite way to get people there is by using the row, right? The recline row, bodyweight row. Because the fact is, if you can't hang and pull, your body while your feet are dangling, right? Or actually, if you can't hang and pull your body with your feet on the floor, how can you hang and pull your body while your feet are dangling? Right? It's a percentage of your body weight versus your whole body weight, right? A percentage of your body weight, it's gonna be easier. So, obviously, I will start people in a really kind of upright position where there's not that much of their body weight on their hands, right? And eventually progress them to where they can do a row in basically parallel to a floor position. And just hit my elbow, right? Because again, if you can't hit 10 of those, why would you be able to do safe pull-ups, right? Doesn't make sense to me. That's a way easier, similar, but way regressed movement because your feet are on the floor, right? The hanging knee raise and the bodyweight row combined, working on those for a while, I think will lead a person to be able to do safe pull-ups. Maybe not quicker. I don't know if quicker, but I don't care about quicker. Why don't I care about quicker? Because the pull-up is the path, right? And that's one thing I wanted to get to. The pull-up is the path. It's direction. If you're starting to work out for the first time, to exercise for the first time, and you're looking at pull-ups like, I want to do a pull-up, that's my goal. Well, that's the direction. If you get to pull-ups, if you take shortcuts getting there, all you're going to end up is with injuries. And not being able to do pull-ups anymore. Elbow injuries, shoulder injuries, you name it. So, build the strength to control what your lower body's doing and control your ribcage position. Build the strength to have that shoulder stability while going through that pulling motion. And enjoy the path there. And that applies to all kinds of complex, hard skills that people walk into a gym the first day and want to learn, right? Like I used to teach a lot of people how to do Olympic weightlifting. I haven't for a few years. But, I used to say if you can't front squat and bent over row and overhead press safely and deadlift perfectly, if you can't do all those things perfectly, I don't want to teach you how to do Olympic lifting. It's too complicated. It's like running my head into a wall. I'd rather take a year, 2 years, 3 years to develop those other things, and then Olympic lifting comes like that. And it never comes, it never comes. That's the most important thing. If it never comes, it never comes. It doesn't matter. If you got better at all these other things in that path, then your body's moving better, you're functioning better, you're feeling better, you're stronger. Skipping steps, doesn't often lead to that, right? It leads to being disappointment and injury and all kinds of funky things. There's more things that I wanted to say. I'm just forgetting them right now. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. So that's how I recommend people progress to a pull-up. And let me do at least one pull-up before we're done. See? A pull-up. We go up all the way. We come down all the way. Nothing swings. Right? All extended arms, all the way down to here. That's what I call a pull-up. That's what I want to see. If I'm teaching somebody how to do pull-ups, that's the end product I'm going for. Okay? How about Merry Christmas? Oh, I'm sorry. Happy holidays. Don't want to be insulting. Anyhow.